Self-Sufficiency. Welcome to another video. I just wanted to have a quick little recap on mealworms because I've been getting a lot of questions about them recently. This is going to be the first in a short series where I'm going to try and cover everything you need to know about keeping, breeding and raising these little guys. I've been getting a lot of questions recently about sort of how I keep them and what methods I use, and to be honest it's changed quite a bit over the years as my experience has grown. So hopefully this little series is going to cover those questions and give you a bit of an update on how I keep them now. When you first buy mealworms, they're going to come to you in a tub that looks much like this. I picked these ones up from a pet store that just sells food for reptiles and that sort of thing, and they're fine. As long as they're the standard ones, they're not been treated with anything, no sort of growth hormones or anything like that. These will be absolutely fine for raising and breeding on. At the moment they are living in wheat bran, which is a perfectly good bedding for them. You'll notice there'll be a few dead ones in there. That's perfectly normal. Yeah, that's just sort of part and parcel with buying them, unfortunately. They're not all going to come to you alive. There shouldn't be any which are pupating. There shouldn't be any adults in there, though. Otherwise, they're too old. Take them back and get some which are a bit younger. You need to be able to improve their sort of health before they start to breed or anything like that. Otherwise, it can cause problems down the line. So get them as young as possible. As long as they're sort of a good size and they look healthy enough, just ignore that there's one or two dead ones in there. That's not something you need to be worried about. Now, obviously, they can't stay in a tub that is so small, and especially not if you're going to be looking to sort of increase their numbers and you're looking to breed them. I used to keep mine in a sort of a plastic tray full of stacking drawers. I believe the video is still up on the site if you want to see sort of like the old one. And if you're looking to keep small numbers, that is absolutely fine. If you're looking to breed them for reptiles, for example. Obviously, I keep mine for chickens, so I need a lot more, and I found that those little tubs were way too small. So now I use these. These are much bigger, obviously. They in fact come from, they're these tubs, which people may recognise if you're in the UK. They're the old tubs that wild bird feed comes in. But you can honestly use anything, absolutely anything, as long as it has got smooth sides and it's light and it's easy for you to work with, then it's absolutely fine. If it's got smooth sides, then they won't be able to climb out. That's your biggest problem. They can't fly. The grubs can't fly, the adults can't fly, so as long as they can't climb up the sides, literally anything you can keep them in. Anything at all. You don't even need to have a lid for it. The only other thing your tub needs to have, apart from smooth, unclimbable sides, is it's going to need to have some ventilation, and I'm hoping you can just about make out that there are holes poked along the sides of this, just so that you get a bit of airflow in there. You need to keep the insides as dry as possible, keep the bedding dry. That's just to reduce there being any chance of odours or anything like that. They shouldn't have any smell. I mean, mealworms don't smell at all. They themselves have no odour. The only thing that can smell is the bedding that they're in. But as long as you keep it nice and dry, then you should be fine with that. Now obviously tubs like this do not come with nice little ventilation holes pre-poked in it for you, so you're going to have to do your own, I'm afraid. And the easiest way to do that is using a metal skewer. And what I mean by a metal skewer is one of these. It doesn't have to be a meat skewer. It can be absolutely anything that's sort of sharp and metal and pokey, to be honest. It could be a long nail or anything like that. As long as you're able to keep your hands away from the heat, because obviously we're going to be warming it up on a hob in just a second. As long as it's, safe for you to use, then it's absolutely fine. It's a dead easy process. As long as it's got a good sharp point on it as well, which is why these skewers are really handy. Obviously this is my method of sort of poking ventilation holes in plastic tubs. If you wanted to use a drill, feel free to give that one a go. I just find this much easier. But just, be aware that it is going to blacken the end of the skewer, so don't use the best ones that you've got. So if we just hold that into the flame for just a second, just to warm it through, that's plenty. And then you're literally just going to push it through the plastic. It should melt straight through, quite easily. And then move around and just slowly add ventilation holes all the way around the sides. And to be honest, that really is all you need. As long as you've got a smooth-sided tub with some ventilation on the sides, and it's going to be enough to keep the air flowing and keep them dry, that really is everything that they need to live in. With the exception of, obviously they can't just go straight into basic plastic. They're going to need some bedding. So when we bought them, they obviously came in their lovely wheat bran, and you can go out and buy that. It's available from usually equestrian stores, actually. They tend to sell it as a horse feed additive. But I don't really bother with that anymore. I used to, but now I can't really sort of justify the expense of it when mealworms are perfectly happy living in any sort of cereal. So my guys will be getting some muesli to live in. Probably better for them. I think it's got nuts in there as well. So yeah, I've picked this one up from the reduced section of the supermarket. It's no added sugar. Obviously, that's pretty important. I don't really want to be giving them anything too sweet or anything that's going to do them any damage, but just basic, boring, bog standard muesli is fine. Another option would be something along the lines of porridge, but that's a bit more expensive and I like porridge, so that's staying with me, and the bugs will be getting the muesli. Then you can add your bedding into the tub up to the depth of about 1 inch to 3 inches, no more than that, otherwise it's just going to be too much. You want it to be enough that they're actually going to eat their way through it, so I'll just pop that in there. And as you can see, there is plenty of food in there to be able to keep them going. They are quite sort of ravenous eaters, but not so much that you won't be able to keep up with them. But that'll be absolutely plenty for them to get them started. And then we're just going to add them straight in to their bedding. Pick out any dead ones as you go along. There's no point leaving those in there. Mealworms won't actually cannibalise if they can help it. They'll only do that if they really, really are sort of on the verge of dehydration or they really are starving. So there's no point leaving dead ones in there. I mean, it's not very nice to have them in there anyway. You do that and just sort of spread them out a bit. But you don't need to do anything else. They will dig themselves down into the bedding and they'll find the food for themselves. Now you just need to find somewhere where you can store them. And where to store them is actually a question that I get asked quite a lot. They are grubs of the darkling beetle, which slightly gives it away in their name. They do want to be somewhere that's dark. You'll find that as soon as you bring them out into the light, they'll start moving and they'll try to get down to where they're hidden. They don't really like to be on show. At the end of the day, they are sort of tasty little morsels that anything's going to want to eat. So they're not going to want to be around if they can help it. So in that case, literally anywhere, an airing cupboard, a garage is absolutely fine. In terms of their temperature, what I would go with is if you are comfortable in it, they are comfortable in it. They're not tropical. They're not like the super worms, like the Morio worms or anything like that. They'll tolerate quite a wide range of temperatures, really. The only thing you will find is that if they're a little bit warmer, they'll breed a little bit quicker. But other than that, absolutely fine. As long as it's sort of between the 15 to 25 range, that's in Celsius, by the way, you'll find that they're perfectly comfortable and they will live out their life cycles and they'll breed quite comfortably. They don't need to be in tropical temperatures. But yeah, that's literally all you need to do with mealworms. Once they're set up to this stage, what we'll look at next is how we're going to be feeding them. You do need to be a little bit careful with them when they're the first batch that you buy, because they tend to be quite unhealthy, which we'll go through in the next video. But for now, I hope you have a good time setting up your own mealworms at home, and hopefully you'll give them a go. They are quite fascinating little things to keep. Yeah, I'll be in contact with you soon, and we'll crack on with the next stage of keeping these little guys.